Well, South Africa has tabled a $132 billion budget for the next 3 years to boost the ailing economy, crippled by power cuts and soaring unemployment. Finance Minister Tito Mboweni has painted a gloomy picture for the country's overall growth projections. He expects economic growth to slow to just 0.9% this year from earlier predictions of 1.2%. That's well below the IMF's estimate for global growth of 3.3%. South Africa's national debt is projected to rise to up to $232 billion this financial year, which is more than 65% of GDP. To raise money, the government is launching a sovereign wealth fund. It'll use mining royalties and cash from the sale of broadband spectrum as capital, with an initial investment of $2 billion. And $4 billion has been set aside for the struggling state-owned power utility Eskom and the national air carrier South African Airways. Well, at 40%, South Africa's youth unemployment rate is one of the highest in the world. More than 8 million young people in the country don't have jobs. Ntshepeng Motema visited a project in Johannesburg, which is preparing some of them for the job market.
A high school dropout, a university graduate, and a qualified teacher, they all have one thing in common: they are jobless. Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator is running this skills workshop in Soweto to help them find work.
Today is basically preparing them to the world of work, giving them skills and the tools for them to become more employable. They can be able to find jobs themselves. So this workshop focuses on CV writing, focuses on professional email, focuses on interviews, the do's and the don'ts. It focuses on networking.
Ntshepeng is 23 years old and has been looking for work since 2017. He hopes that after this session, his luck will change.
It's really hard because for a person like me who doesn't have a job in where I live, you get a whole lot of stress. They ask you, what are you going to eat? You eat too much. You do this too much. Stop wasting water and electricity, or else you didn't hustle for that day and you don't have money to give them or to contribute.
South Africa's national unemployment rate is stuck at 29%. For young black people in communities like this across the country, the number is even higher. They say they want the government to do more to create jobs. But it has other priorities. The country needs to control its debt to appease investors and lenders. Economist Maudi Linzwe says Finance Minister Tito Mboweni has a tough job.
He's got two challenges. How does he cut back on the expenditure side? We've got the debt a deficit, which is threatening to go up to 6%, which is a big challenge considering that the reasonable level is around 3%. On the other hand, you've also got the debt ratio that's also rising, partly because we're not growing, but also because we have been borrowing, to try and survive.
And it looks like South Africa will have to keep borrowing to stay afloat. The World Bank expects the economy to grow by just 0.8% this year. That's because the country has a tax revenue shortfall. There's widespread power cuts, and failing state-owned entities, power utility Eskom and national carrier South African Airways, continue to drain the public purse. While these job seekers are well prepped for employment and eager for jobs, without an economy that's hiring, they may be searching for a long time yet. Ntshepeng Motema, TRT World, in Soweto.